got two beautiful BMW motorcycles. I've owned both for some time now, and I think I'm going to be selling the 99 red F650 on the right tomorrow. Before letting her go, I figure I would go over some of the details, differences, and my experiences between the two motorcycles. Now, my history is rich and goes way back on this Funduro over here. When I first bought it, I was reading about these that were coming out, the F800 two-cylinder BMW, and reading the specs on it, I was like, I want one of those motorcycles. I think that was back in 2007 or 8. This one's 2009, by the way. So, about 8 months ago or so, I finally got the opportunity to purchase one of these because when they were first out, they were way above my price range. I think like 12 grand or something like that. Didn't have that money at the time. All right, let's go over some differences and details on these things. You're gonna notice right off the rip that the F800 on your left is a much more stylish, sleek, sexy looking motorcycle. It's also bigger. The Italian built, basically the same thing as Aprilia Pegaso has a Rotax motor in there. This thing's not even made in Germany. It's a long story, but look it up if you want to check it out. Not very stylish. The next big difference is going to be price. I picked this bike up for like 3 grand, which I'm having trouble getting. I have it listed for 1,800 now. I guess people don't love these things. But much cheaper, and these, you're not really getting one for less than like 4K. That's pretty much where the price gap is there. A couple things I really like about it. Came factory with the heated grips. I like the ABS on it. Fuel injection, you push the button and go. I mean, come on. This thing's cold right now. It's a neutral. Oh, I also love the digital display and the fact that it has the gear indicator output on there. Really nice, and it shows your fuel consumption, but you press the button and she fires right up. Purrs like a kitten. Sounds good too. I really like the factory exhaust. Very responsive. Carbureted over here. Some might say it's not as reliable, but it's actually more reliable because you could rebuild these carburetors in the middle of nowhere with very little to nothing. If the fuel injection breaks, then, well, you might be in trouble. This one here, choker, and there you go. Sounds like a mule, right? Definitely not as good of a sound, and this has the stain tune exhaust on it, which is very hard to get. The factory exhaust, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the factory exhaust. I just wanted more noise back in the day. Sounds good, but not as good. I'll definitely be leaving the stock muffler on the F800. Fuel capacity and consumption is very similar on both, around 4.3 gallons it holds, and this one has the tank in the back here. I think same thing, just over 4 gallons, 4.22. Horsepower, this F650 is about 48 horsepower, has a lot more torque on the low end than the F800GS, which is very useful off-road. This one's 85 horsepower, a lot more in the higher RPM. Weight-wise, this one's, well, actually I printed out some specs over here. I'm trying to memorize this stuff, but the curb weight on that one is 421 on the red F650, and the curb weight on the F800GS is 456. So, yeah, 30-pound difference. Not too bad. And then you got your torque numbers, 42 pound-feet versus 61 pound-feet on the 800. You know, a funny other little snippet here is this list here is about 12 years old. When I first was looking at these motorcycles, I typed this up on Microsoft Word. Let's go over this. I wanted one of these so bad, but I couldn't justify spending the money. So the good, 85 horsepower, awesome sounding, 125 mile an hour top speed, which the 650 is only about 100 or so. You really don't want to go that fast on these kind of bikes anyway, though, because they get pretty unstable. While the 800 holds the higher top speed, the 650 can certainly hang when it comes to freeway travel. I've taken that bike cross-country back and forth several times, and the longest stint I ever did was from Du Bois, Pennsylvania to Gothenburg, Nebraska, straight, with a little detour to Chicago too, but 22 hours it took me, 1,242 miles straight. So it can get you out here, and it's small enough to enjoy the amazing trails up in Colorado and Utah too. 21-inch front wheel. Okay, I wrote 21 feet actually, but this one only comes with a 19. That's pretty noticeable difference off-road because this does hop over logs and such a little bit easier. You know, you got your miles per gallon on there, fuel injected, okay, and a lot of aftermarket products available. The bad. And you know what, I guess you could just pause this if you want to take a look at the list here, but the bad over here, expensive, hard to find spare parts, and look at that, yeah, $12,000. Anyway, you can pause that, but yeah. So I finally did get one, and what I like about it, and the reason I've been swayed, is it's just a really smooth, shifting, running, phenomenal motorcycle. It goes down the road awesome, and it can still hit dirt road and do some light off-roading. But the truth is if I'm doing any off-roading, I take my 1986 XL 600R. Kind of a bad picture of her here, and I know she's ugly, but I love this motorcycle to death. We've been through a lot together, and I will not ever be selling this bike. Kickstart only and all that. Might be selling this boat though. Boat season's winding down. But I've been riding the two side by side, switching them off for the last 6 months now. Honestly, don't tell the police, but kind of just been plate slapping this one with the registration and insurance off of the 650. But anyway, here's a few more angles of it. She's a good bike, and she won me over. Just want to put these thoughts out there before I sell this beautiful motorcycle tomorrow. Just can't hoard everything, can't keep them all, so I'm gonna let her go. And yeah, there's your final shot. So in my opinion, you want a reliable bike, this one on the right. If you want a fun to ride bike that gets the looks from the ladies, it's going to be the F800GS. It's a sharp looking bike, and she rides great. KZ Guy 2 here, No Nonsense, No How. I'll see you later.